EPAWA meteorologist Bobby Martich here with your outlook for February 11th, 2025. It is Tuesday, and the Tuesday video forecast is proudly sponsored by Mark Damiani Painting Incorporated. Let me paint this picture for you, no pun intended. You have some vacation days you want to burn to get things done around the house. You inform your significant other that you'll be off for a long weekend and would like to paint the family room. The morning of comes, and you are standing in the room with your coffee in hand thinking, yeah, I'm not doing this, right? We've all been there before, so let Mark Damiani Painting help get your well-earned free time back. They are family-owned and operated with over 40 years in business, so you can't go wrong with their exceptional attention to detail and great customer service, servicing the Southeast PA counties of Montgomery, Bucks, and Chester. Call them now to schedule a free estimate at the phone number above me here in the video, 484-571-9233. They are Mark Damiani Painting Incorporated, proud sponsor of the Tuesday video forecast. So we do have a little bit of snow coming into the region today, and this is going to be a little bit later in the afternoon where most areas are going to see it, like a mid to late afternoon start for most of us. Now, areas far north aren't going to see anything from this. Okay, you might see a few flurries at most, and nothing really sticking or noteworthy. The further south you go, the better it's going to be. So we put a first map call out for this yesterday. I'll show you that in a second. If I haven't, I think I do. But here is the what the European model does. Again, mid to late afternoon start today, and then you have this snow overspreading the region. When you get in the evening, that's where you're going to get most of your accumulations across the southern areas here, and that's going to include parts of south central and southeast PA, and that is kind of like your heaviest zone, so to speak, and you have to go really far south and across these areas right in here to really get southeast of I-95, south of the Mason-Dixon to get any kind of even higher accumulations, and I'll show you that here in a second too. But this pulls away very late at night, and then there could be some lingering snow showers here on Wednesday before we move into the next phase, which is another system entirely. That's this low pressure moving toward us. We'll get into that in a second. Here's the NAM high-res future simulated radar. I'm starting this off here at 2 o'clock in the afternoon today. Okay, so we move this forward. You can see all this is obviously blue. We don't have to worry about any mixing issues, at least not for most of us. We have snow moving across, and this you see the snow lines getting all the way up to north of maybe even southern Lycoming County, according to the NAM simulated radar here, into southern Luzerne and goes all the way over to about Mount Pocono, and then that's kind of like your cutoff line where it doesn't go any further north than that. Maybe a few flurries north of there. But even though it's snowing up in these areas here, it's very light. Okay, so it's going to be snowing for several hours, but it's just very light rates, so it's going to take forever to really get them to pile up. Where your heaviest access is going to be is really down in here, where you're really going to get hit hard with a 6+ inch snowfall. Probably 6 to 9 is what we have in these areas, with the 8 or 9 of favoring out in these areas right here. When you get to southern Jersey, it's closer to 6, but it's still a pretty hefty snowfall for those areas in particular. And then in between, you're kind of like a 2 to 4 here. I'll show you that map in a second. Moving this forward, this is going through the course of the evening. The NAM's actually suggesting there's some mixing going on down here, a little bit further north than we have it on the map here. This is a new development we're going to watch, which would cut down on some of the snow totals if that were the case. And it might even sneak into South Jersey if this is correct. I looked at the soundings for these areas here. They're not really overly thrilled until you get to southern Delaware, by Georgetown, Delaware, and down to Ocean City, Maryland, of seeing any sleet in the sounding. So I don't see anything up here in these areas that I picked, that cherry-picked out here, that would indicate sleet. So we'll see. We'll follow that today, but then it does end as snow, even the areas that do change over to, or mix with sleet at least. That is possible. This is going to end after midnight. This is looking at 2 a.m., and you see it's ending in the interior at that point, and about 3 o'clock in the morning, it's moving off the coast, maybe some lingering flurries there later at night, and that's it. And that'll be the end of that system. So here is our map. Here it is right there. That's the map we put out. So anything in Area A here is just flurries, no accumulations. Area B is a coating to as much as 2 inches, but it is everything has the and the caption here says everything is the farther south you go, the higher it's going to be. So you're going to be closer to a coating up here, basically, closer to 2 down here. Same thing if you're in the top part of C, you're closer to 2 in the 2 to 4. But you're closer to 4 down here by Philadelphia in those areas. So you get the point here. The further south you go, the higher it gets. Same thing here. This is 4 to 6. It's closer to 4 here, maybe 4.5, something like that. And it's close to 6 when you get down to like Vineland, New Jersey, over to just about Atlantic City or so. So that's how that works. It's contoured, and the further south you go, it gets higher in that range. So if you're going to micromanage this and say, Well, I live in Allentown. What should I get? Well, probably about an inch or maybe a little bit more than that. That's basically what it's saying on this contour. Okay, so that's what we have for the map. The jackpot zone here is 6 to 9, but the 7, 8, 9 inch stuff is going to be in here. This will be closer to 6, like maybe 6 to 7 out in these areas. That's what we're thinking right now. Don't expect any large scale changes to this map today. This still looks pretty good with the data that I'm seeing this evening. Maybe a minor tweak or something. I doubt it, though. It looks like it's pretty good, but we'll see and continue to follow that this morning. If we do have to do anything, any adjustments will be done this morning, and then we'll have an early afternoon release before any of this starts, just because we'll have time before it begins to make any adjustments. But I don't see any adjustments right now, so we might be holding off on that. European Ensemble largely agrees with the axis that we have on our map and also the amounts. So I think we're pretty good there, and there's no reason to reinvent the wheel for something like this. It looks like we know where the heaviest swath is going to be, and we know what's going to be contoured, down, incrementally increasing as you go further south. Pretty simple, right? Now the next one behind this, again, this is the next one coming in behind it is starting off as maybe a little bit of snow, but don't get excited about that part. Goes over to some light freezing rain, but this whole thing changes over to rain everywhere just about before it ends on Thursday morning. You see this rain going all the way up to past the New York-Pennsylvania border, okay? Here's the NAM and what it shows, and it does, in fact, have some snow at the onset. This is just really light stuff, though, and it would be about early to mid-afternoon. It's going to come in a little bit earlier, so you don't have much of a break in between systems here. We get into mid to late afternoon on Wednesday, and the next one's coming in, but it's generally very light snow. So yes, it's physically snowing, and this goes all the way into the evening hours. This is looking at 8 p.m. Still snowing pretty far south and west here, but then you're going to have the warm air advection come in. We know what that does. It shuts it off pretty quickly, and then you get into this a little bit of sleet, not much. There's not going to be a boatload of sleet storm like we had this last time or whatever time it was. And then this is some light freezing rain coming in at the onset. When this warm air takes over, it changes everything over to rain, though. Elevations could hold on to the freezing rain a little bit longer, so we're going to monitor that for the freezing rain potential. But you see everywhere in green here and yellow is light to moderate rainfall. Okay, so this is going to change over, and this is going right into Thursday morning. That's 7 o'clock in the morning on Thursday. It's raining, and it's 40 or above in a lot of these areas. So it's going to be definitely whatever happens overnight is going to be washed away or melted away at that point. Okay, so just going to be an issue for driving concerns, most notably, obviously, tonight for the areas that are getting snow, and it's all snow for most of you, right? Won't be an issue into Wednesday morning because there's going to be by the time we get to Wednesday morning, there might be some delays to school, things like that. But whatever they didn't clean up overnight is basically what's left on the roadways and how the roadways will be, because it's going to shut off in the pre-dawn hours, so it's going to be done before then. So it's going to be a tough call for Wednesday here because we do have more precipitation moving into the afternoon, and it's going to be in the form of snow. But I don't really think this is 3 p.m. I think you can get if they had a delay on Wednesday morning, you could probably do the day, right, and then get the kids home, and then it starts snowing. But it's just going to be generally light, the stuff coming in early, light snow. And if I move this to a 24-hour snowfall total, just so this will be exclusive, this does not include anything that's happening later today and tonight. This is exclusive to that stuff coming in on Wednesday afternoon. And if I do a total map of snowfall, no, I don't want to do that. That's total. That's grand total. We don't do that. 24-hour. You see a lot of coating to a half-inch, coating to an inch stuff here, and maybe higher peaks get up to 2. But that's all you're getting from that on the front end. So, I mean, there's a lot of people excited. Well, they keep asking me, what about Wednesday? What about Wednesday? It's not that big of a deal. And it's going to change over to rain, too. So you might have some accumulating snow at the onset, but it's going to disappear in the overnight when it changes to other precipitation types, and then goes over to rain by Thursday morning. And these days are running together, I'll tell you. So many different storms, and it's hard to keep track of days as I'm sitting here trying to discuss this. But either way, we're going to move beyond this system here, and it does get cold. We get cold air coming in here, again, on Friday, where we'll have temperatures that are going to be generally in the low to mid-30s for highs on Friday, but we are going to have mostly sunny skies in the wake of that system. And the next one comes in. I do think this is going to be predominantly rain with this, and there's a reason for that. It's because the southeast ridge is going to be able to flex a little bit ahead of this one. We're losing the negative EPO, which is rising toward neutral, and this could have a little bit of a snow or wintry mix at the onset when this comes in here on Saturday afternoon. But this is, again, going to be turning into a predominantly rain event going all the way through Sunday. So, Sunday's probably going to be a day you want to stay inside and watch whatever Daytona 500, right? I think that's on this Sunday, isn't it? I believe. But yeah, you'll be able to watch that and not have to get up from your couch, and that's it. So there's going to be a day that you would stay inside. We definitely need the moisture, however we can get it. I know everybody's like, oh yeah, we need snow. No, we don't. We don't need it. I know some people would like that. Might this should just end. Might just end as a few flakes here in the Poconos and Northeast PA, Northwest New Jersey before this pulls away late in the afternoon on Sunday. Then we clear out overnight, and then we're back to partly cloudy skies here on Monday with temperatures much colder temperatures coming in here on Monday. Probably not getting out of the 20s for highs, and partly cloudy skies expected here on Monday. Now, GFS, just to show you what it's doing, this is why I said don't get excited, because the EPO is not going to be negative at this time. So it keeps trying to sell this idea that there's going to be a pretty significant amount of snowfall coming in here on Saturday, and it's going to take its time. That boundary is going to take its time to change this over to rain. It does change it over to rain for most areas, but it keeps snow as a pretty dominant precipitation type early in the storm. I don't think that's going to be correct, and don't hold your hopes to this, because I really think this is going to be a predominantly rain event, and it would take a lot for this to change. But right now, this is what we're looking at, and that it should just be a predominantly rain event here by Sunday. So you might start off a little wintry in some places, maybe north of 78 in Pennsylvania, New Jersey. We'll keep an eye on it, but my gut feel, just knowing how the upper air pattern looks at this time, it's not very good. Southeast Ridge is flexing here, so it's going to be tough to get a wintry event, certainly one that is wintry from start to finish. But we'll continue to follow that in the week ahead. A lot going on here in the next 24 to 36 hours, so we're going to stay on top of that, and just make sure you check social media or our weather alerts page, which will have the updated information for Wednesday today. We already did Tuesday. If there's any changes today, we'll make them in the morning and let you know about it. But more likely, we're going to be focusing on the next system coming in, which is starting off as snow for a couple hours, really light, and then going over to sleet briefly, freezing rain briefly, and then we go over to rain by the time we get to later Wednesday night and into Thursday morning. I'm EPAWA meteorologist Bobby Martis. That is your outlook for February 11th, 2025. Have a great Tuesday.